Mrs. Rodriguez called Maria after class. She's always been smart, but lately, it's like she's thinking 10 steps ahead of everyone. Maria forced a smile. She's just been reading more. But inside, she felt the panic return. Spotlight brought questions, and questions brought risk. The whispers weren't just at school. They spread through the mansion, halls, among the staff, among the guests, even among the board members who visited the estate for quiet power lunches. One man, bald and sunburnt, caught Harrison alone near the front hallway. "That little girl," he said casually, sipping brandy. "The maid's daughter. Heard you've taken a special interest." Harrison said nothing. "You know how that looks, right?" "I know exactly how it looks," Harrison said, meeting his gaze. "It looks like I'm paying attention." The man's expression didn't change. "You always were sentimental," Harrison leaned in. "And you always were replaceable." The moment that changed everything didn't happen on a chessboard. It happened in a hallway. Zara was walking back from the powder room when she passed. Clara, the same woman who had tried to get her removed on day one. Clara looked her up and down. Then leaned in and whispered just loud enough. "Little girls like you don't stay in castles. They just clean up after them." Zara didn't flinch. She didn't cry. She simply looked Clara straight in the eyes and said, "Then I guess I'll just have to build my own castle." Then she turned and walked away. Behind a half-open door, Harrison had heard every word. That evening, Maria was wiping down the marble staircase when Harrison approached quietly. "She's extraordinary," he said. Maria didn't look up. "She's a child. She's more than that." Maria set her rag down. "You need to stop." "Stop what?" "This, the games, the attention. She's getting looks at school. People are whispering. Do you know what that means for a girl like her?" He looked genuinely confused. "You say that like it's a bad thing." "It is when you don't understand what it's like to be her. She's my daughter." Maria's voice dropped. "Not yet." Silence stretched between them. Then she turned and walked away. That night, Zara sat on the floor of her bedroom, tracing chess moves with bottle caps. She wasn't thinking about whispers. She was planning. Dreaming. The pieces didn't care who she was, only how she played. Meanwhile, Harrison opened a locked drawer in his study and took out an envelope labeled ZT. Inside were 5 documents: a birth certificate, a DNA test he never mailed, and a letter he'd started writing 100 times. The invitation came in a cream-colored envelope with gold trim. It wasn't addressed to Zara. It was addressed to Mr. Harrison Blake. Inside, "You are invited to the annual Blake Foundation Gala and Evening of Excellence. Formal attire. Black tie only. Press will attend." And a handwritten note at the bottom. "Looking forward to meeting your little protégé." Maria found it first. She had been dusting his desk when she saw the envelope open. The handwriting caught her eye. Sharp, elegant, threatening in the way only powerful people's writing could be. She read it once, then twice. By the time Harrison entered the room, she was already pacing. "You can't take her there." He stopped. "Excuse me?" Maria turned. "To your gala. To them." He raised an eyebrow. "She's being honored." "She's being displayed," he sighed. "Maria, this could open doors for her." "No, it opens a cage and paints it gold." He walked over slowly. "She's brilliant, and the world should know. She's black, and a maid's daughter. Do you know what this world does to girls like that who dare to be seen?" He paused. Then, "Yes, I do." In the boardroom of Blake Enterprises, 5 executives sat around a table built to intimidate. Old men, sharp suits, whiskey in crystal glasses. "Let me get this straight," said the one at the head. "Harrison is mentoring a chess-playing child?" "Not just mentoring," said another. "He's obsessed." "Who is she?" "No one." A maid's daughter. A long silence, then laughter. Does he think this is endearing? Like some fairy tale? The oldest one didn't laugh. It's reckless. What do we do? Remind him who controls the board. That reminder came as a formal letter tucked into a stack of financial reports. It read, Dear Mr. Blake, while your mentorship of young minds is commendable, the board is concerned about optics. We strongly advise discretion regarding the child you've been spending time with. Our investors may not understand. Sincerely, the Executive Oversight Committee. Harrison read it once, then again. He didn't shred it. He didn't frame it. He folded it neatly and placed it beneath Zara's last chess score sheet, where she'd scribbled checkmate in pink pen. Zara didn't know any of this. Not the boardrooms. Not the whispers. All she knew was this. Her games with Mr. Blake had suddenly stopped. He'd canceled their last 2 sessions. Maria told her not to take it personally, but Zara wasn't a child who took anything lightly, especially silence. At school, she played chess alone during recess. Emma watched from the swings, unsure how to help. A few older boys wandered over. One snorted. Still playing that old man's game? Zara didn't look up. Still scared to lose? The boy frowned. It's a waste of time. Then go away. He hesitated, then left. Emma walked over. Why are you mad? I'm not mad, Zara said quietly. I'm just thinking ahead. Maria tried not to cry that night. Zara had gone to bed early, too quiet, and Harrison hadn't called. She stood at the kitchen sink, washing the same dish for 15 minutes until she finally muttered aloud, She's just a little girl. You have no right to push her into that world. Behind her, a voice replied, I'm not pushing. She turned. Harrison stood in the doorway, holding a wooden box. I'm protecting. He set the box on the table and opened it. Inside, a handcrafted chess set, not marble, not gold, but warm mahogany and soft ivory. Each piece had been hand-carved by a blind artisan Harrison had met years ago. It's for her, he said softly. A gift for home. Maria touched the edge of the board. Why now? Because they told me to stop. And you're not going to? He looked her in the eyes. She's already started. I'm just keeping the pieces in play. Later that night, Zara found the board on the kitchen table, a note beside it, written in neat cursive, for the girl who always sees 5 moves ahead, H. She traced her fingers over the pawns, then looked at her mother. Does this mean I can keep playing? Maria knelt down beside her and pulled her close. It means they're trying to stop you. Zara blinked. Who? Maria didn't answer. She just kissed her daughter's forehead and whispered, So play louder. The library at Lincoln Elementary had never hosted more than 10 students at once. That Friday, it was full. Not loud. Just full. Full of whispers. Of stares. Of something nobody quite had a word for until she sat down. Zara was supposed to spend recess inside that day. She had scraped her knee the day before, and the nurse insisted she stay off it for 24 hours. Her teacher had said, You can read quietly in the library. But the librarian had a better idea. I found something for you, she said, smiling. Someone donated an old tournament chessboard. Thought you might like to see it. Zara's eyes lit up. Can I play? You can set it up, sure. Zara didn't just set it up. She animated it. Each piece placed carefully, intentionally, and when she was done, she sat down and stared at the board like it was alive. A 6th grader named Miguel wandered by. He looked at the pieces, curious. You know how to play? Zara nodded. You any good? She shrugged. Want to find out? Miguel smirked. You're like 8. 8.5, Zara corrected. He sat down. In 30 minutes. Later, he walked away shaking his head. She beat me. Like, fast. 2 more kids sat down. Then 3 more. By the end of lunch, Zara had played 7 games. She had lost none. Mrs. Rodriguez stood in the hallway, watching through the small glass pane on the library door. She wasn't alone. A sharply dressed woman in a navy blue suit stood beside her, clipboard in hand, glasses low on her nose. She's focused, the woman said. She's something else, Mrs. Rodriguez whispered. The woman nodded. She always been this gifted? No, Mrs. Rodriguez said. She's always been this quiet. The rest? That just came to the surface. Across town, Harrison stood on his balcony, looking out at the skyline. He hadn't heard from Maria. In days, he hadn't called. Not because he didn't want to, because he didn't want to make things worse. He still had the letter from the board tucked into his drawer. He still had the chess scorecard with Zara's pink checkmate, and he still hadn't decided what to do. Until his phone buzzed. New video. Little girl crushes chess games at school, uploaded by Lincoln Elementary. Librarian. He pressed play. Watched Zara calmly dismantle opponent after opponent. Watched her pause before each move, eyes sharp but still gentle. Watched her raise her hand once, not for help, but to get a tissue for the kid she just beat. Good game, she said in the video. And meant it. He watched it 3 times before calling Maria. Maria picked up, hesitant. Hello? She's ready, Harrison said. Maria was quiet. I know. Let's not wait anymore. I don't want her to become a symbol. She already is, Maria sighed. And what happens when people stop clapping? Then? She still has us. A long silence. Then, there's a city tournament next month. I'll make the calls. The next morning, Zara found an envelope in her backpack. Inside, a printed flyer. Young champions. Chess tournament, ages 8 to 18, and a note. Only if you want to. Mom and H. She looked up at Maria. Is this real? Maria smiled softly. Only if you want it to be. Zara hugged her tightly. I want it. That night, at their tiny kitchen table, Harrison set up the mahogany board again. Zara sat across from him, already planning 5 moves ahead. Why are you smiling? He asked. Because I know how this game ends. Oh? You're going to lose. He raised an eyebrow. Confident, are we? No, Zara said, prepared. They played for an hour. She won twice, and when Maria walked in to refill her coffee, she stopped at the sight of them. Not just playing, but belonging. Zara glanced up and said, Mom? Yes, I think I'm ready. For what? For them to see me. Maria walked over, kissed her forehead, and whispered, Then we'll make sure they really see. The Blake Foundation gala shimmered with cold elegance. Gold trim, crystal glasses, white marble floors that made shoes echo like judgment. Zara's Mary Jane's clicked softly as she walked in, her small hand in Harrison's. Maria walked beside them in a modest navy blue dress she'd borrowed from a neighbor. Not glamorous, but honest. They didn't belong, and they walked in anyway. Who's the little girl? A woman in a jeweled gown whispered, Some chess thing Harrison's doing. A scholarship program? No, personal project. That word again. Project. Like. Zara was a science experiment, or a tax deduction. Harrison led them to a quiet table near the back. Away from the cameras, Zara sat still, shoulders tight, eyes wide. It's okay to be nervous, Harrison whispered. I'm not, she said. They are. He blinked. Who? They don't understand me. That makes people scared. Maria gently smoothed Zara's curls. You don't owe anyone anything. Zara nodded, but she looked toward the stage like she already knew it would be hers. Halfway through the evening, a suited man approached their table. Square shoulders, tight smile. Mr. Blake, he said with thinly veiled disdain. This your little guest? She's my daughter. The man didn't react. Just turned to Zara. So, you play chess? Yes, sir. How good are you? Zara looked him in the eyes. Good enough that you're asking. The man blinked, then chuckled coldly. Smart mouth. Careful intelligence. From the wrong address gets mistaken for arrogance. Maria's hand tensed under the table. Zara stayed calm. Then Harrison spoke. Would you like to find out just how mistaken she is? The man raised an eyebrow. Are you challenging me? Harrison shook his head. No, she is. They cleared a table. Brought out a set. Not gold. Not mahogany. Just plastic pieces on a felt mat. The man sat down, loosening his cufflinks. Zara took her seat across from him, calm, still, and waiting. Don't hold back, she said. The crowd chuckled. The man smirked. You'll regret that. But 10 minutes into the game, the chuckles faded, then fell silent. The man leaned forward, trying to regain control. Zara's pieces danced around his like smoke, hard to see coming, impossible to hold down. He took her knight with a grin. She took his queen with a whisper. You forgot to protect her. Maria stood still, barely breathing. Cameras began to turn. Phones came out. This wasn't charity. This was history. 20-5 minutes later, she moved her rook. Check. He scrambled. Panicked. She moved her queen. Checkmate. The room exhaled. All at once. Then silence. Then thunderous applause. Someone in the back stood. Then another, a third. Harrison didn't clap. He wiped his eyes. Zara stood, offered her hand. Thank you for the game. The man shook it, stunned. How did you learn this? She smiled. By losing. A lot. You should try it. Afterward, reporters swarmed. Who is she? Where did she come from? Is she a prodigy? Harrison stepped forward. She's Zara Thompson. She's my daughter. And she's not up next, she's already here. Cameras flashed. Questions flew. But Zara only looked at her mom, then her dad, then up at the chandelier, and smiled. Later that night, as they stepped out into the cool air, Maria whispered, You didn't just play chess in there. Zara looked up. Then what did I do? You made them see. The video hit 1 million views in 2 days. The caption read, 8-year-old black girl checkmates billionaire exec in front of whole gala. Someone had filmed the entire match from behind the champagne tower. The video showed the whole room falling into stunned silence. It captured her quiet stare, her final move, and the stunned look on the executive's face. It didn't need music. It didn't need editing. It was already perfect. By Monday morning, reporters were calling the school chess. Magazines, local news, national networks. Maria silenced her phone, but it kept buzzing. Mrs. Rodriguez walked Zara to class like a bodyguard. You okay? She whispered. Zara nodded. But she WSN single quotes to not really. She liked chess. She didn't ask to become a headline. Back at the mansion, Harrison sat in his study, reading emails. Subject: sponsorship opportunity. Subject: interview request. CNN. Subject: Zara Thompson, youngest chess prodigy. He didn't answer any of them. Not yet. He knew what came next because he'd lived in. They'd build her up. Then wait for her to trip. Then say she never belonged in the first place. At lunch, Emma sat next to Zara in the cafeteria. You're like famous now, she said. Zara poked at her sandwich. I didn't mean to be. You still going to play with us? Zara looked up. You still want to? Emma grinned. As long as you don't go easy on me, Zara smiled. I never do. That evening, Maria sat Zara down at the kitchen table. A stack of letters sat between them, some typed, some handwritten. All addressed to Zara. She opened one with a sunflower sticker on the back. Dear Zara, I'm 9 years old and I just started playing chess because of you. I didn't know girls like us could win. You made me brave." Zara read it twice, then looked at her mother. "I didn't know people were watching." "They were," Maria said softly. "They always were, even when you didn't know it." The next day, Dr. Lisa Chun arrived at their apartment. She wore her usual navy blue suit, but this time her eyes sparkled. "You ready for a real challenge?" she asked Zara. "Define real," Zara teased. Lisa laughed. "There's a regional invitational tournament next month. You'd be the youngest in the open category." Zara tilted her head. "Are they going to like me there?" "They don't have to like you. They just have to play you." Zara nodded. "Then I'll go." The flyer arrived the next morning. The Tri-State Invitational Elite Youth Division. Limited seating. Public exhibition match at noon. Broadcast live. Zara turned it over in her hands. "Broadcast?" she asked. Harrison nodded. "TV, maybe more." Maria didn't speak. Not yet. The next 2 weeks were a blur. Zara trained with Dr. Chen after school. She studied past tournament matches on the tablet Harrison gave her. She solved puzzle books under the covers at night, flashlight in hand. But every now and then, she paused. Not because she didn't love chess, but because something was shifting. People didn't just call her smart. Now they called her special. And special came with pressure. 3 nights before the tournament, Zara found Maria sitting in the dark living room. "Mama?" she asked. Double quotes, "Yes, baby. Do I have to win?" Maria looked at her. "You don't have to do anything except be kind, be strong, and be you. But everyone's watching now." Maria pulled her into her lap. "Let them watch. That's not your weight to carry. Let them be inspired. Let them whisper. You just play." The morning of the tournament arrived like a storm. Flashing lights, press badges, velvet ropes, but Zara didn't flinch. She wore a simple red sweater and black slacks. Hair braided, chin up. She stepped into the tournament hall like she'd always belonged there. And maybe, finally, she had. The Tri-State Invitational ended with thunder, not applause. Though there was plenty of that. Not headlines, though those came too. Real thunder came after the cameras were gone, after Zara had placed her rook just right, after she whispered, "Checkmate," and after a room full of grown-ups stood up, not because they were told to, but because they had to. The tournament director walked to the center of the room, his voice shaking slightly. "I've seen champions," he said into the mic. "But today I saw something else." He turned to Zara. "I saw a legacy begin." They handed her a trophy almost as tall as she was, and a medal she wore like armor, and a scholarship certificate. No one had expected to hand out that day. Her picture was printed in Chess Life, Time for Kids, and the Wall Street Journal side by side with grandmasters 3 times her age. But the real shift happened back home. Quiet. And slow. And real. At Lincoln Elementary, the library chessboard was no longer just for recess. By the end of the week, 32 kids had signed up to learn the game, boys and girls. Black, brown, white. Loud and shy. Kids who had never held a pawn before. Kids who never thought they were smart enough. Until Zara made it look like joy. Mrs. Rodriguez put up a sign outside her classroom, "Zara's Corner for thinkers who play bold." Principal Hampton announced a new after-school program, Queen's Path, Strategic Thinking for Girls. Zara didn't know what to say when she saw the name. Maria just smiled. "Looks like they're finally catching up." The mansion library, once a space she tiptoed through, was now hers to command. Harrison had a brass plaque placed beside the chess set, the Thompson board, dedicated to all girls told to sit quietly. Letters continued pouring in. One came from an elementary school in Mississippi. "Our 3rd graders watched your match during class. Half of them had never seen a black girl on TV being celebrated for her mind. Now they're all begging for chess sets. Another came from a chess teacher in Detroit. Thank you for making strategy cool. Our girls didn't just see a champion. They saw themselves. Dr. Chun arrived one Friday holding a clipboard, visibly stunned. There's a petition, she said, started by players and coaches across the country. Maria blinked. A petition for what? To rename a tournament trophy, Dr. Chun said. They want to call it the Zara T. Rising Star Award. Zara's eyes widened. Is that allowed? Dr. Chun smiled. It is now. Later that evening, Zara sat on the living room floor, setting up the mahogany board. Maria was folding laundry. Harrison was stirring pasta. Can we do something different? Zara asked. Like what? Harrison replied. She pointed to the board. Let's not play against each other. Let's be on the same team. Solve it together. Harrison smiled. Team chess? Zara nodded. Family chess. They sat on the same side of the table. Maria joined too. One piece at a time, they worked together to solve a tough puzzle Dr. Chen had left them. And when they solved it, Zara beamed. Best win yet. The next Monday, Zara stepped into the school auditorium for a surprise assembly. Banners. Read, celebrating one of our own, Zara Thompson, champion. Leader. Queen. They presented her with a framed certificate, a chess-themed mural painted by the art club, and one final surprise. Principal Hampton tapped the microphone. This school has never named a room after a student, but today that changes. He gestured to the double doors beside the stage. A white sheet fell away to reveal the Zara Thompson Strategy Lab. Zara stared in disbelief. A classroom just for chess, puzzles, math, and leadership games. Open to all. Free. Permanent. She didn't cry. But Maria did. And when Zara walked through those doors for the first time, dozens of kids followed. Not because they were told to, because they were inspired. The letter arrived on thick, ivory paper. No return address. Just 4 chilling words. In bold at the top, conflict of interest inquiry. Harrison read it twice. Then a third time. At the bottom, typed neatly in ink that never smudged. You are formally being investigated for using personal influence to promote a child with familial ties, under the guise of public education and charitable programming. Immediate disclosure is required. Translation: they knew, or worse, they suspected, and they were preparing to bury them all. Maria found him sitting at the edge of the couch, still holding the letter. She didn't ask what it said. She just sat beside him. They're going to come. For me first, she said quietly. No, Harrison whispered. They'll come for her. The email started that night. Anonymous. Cruel. Strategic. One accused Maria of manipulating a vulnerable man. Another claimed Zara's wins were suspicious. A third hinted at inappropriate favoritism by the tournament committee. They didn't sign their names, but their fingerprints were all over it. Boardroom. Fingerprints. Legal fingerprints. Whispers turned to shadows, and shadows turned into weapons. The next morning, Maria was called into the school office. 2 district officials sat behind the principal's desk. Tight suits. Tighter expressions, Mrs. Thompson, one began. We need to ask if your daughter's chess accomplishments have been influenced in any way by Mr. Blake's financial contributions to the district. Maria blinked. I didn't even know he made any. The second official nodded. We have reason to believe is a conflict of interest, favoritism, possibly even backdoor curriculum changes. Maria stared at them. Are you accusing an 8-year-old of rigging a school program? They didn't answer, just folded their hands, like the pieces were already set. At home, Zara sat on the edge of her bed. She'd overheard bits, the word investigation, the word suspension, the word over, Did I do something wrong? She asked. Maria knelt beside her. No, baby. You did everything right. That's the problem. Zara was quiet for a long time. Then, they only liked me when they didn't know I was winning. Maria couldn't answer that because she knew it was true. That evening, Harrison called an emergency meeting with his board. 12 faces on a screen, all polished, all pale. I know what you're trying to do, he said calmly. One woman smiled. We're simply asking for transparency. You're weaponizing protocol to punish an 8-year-old girl. You're blurring the lines between business and personal, another chimed in. And we've already received legal threats. Harrison leaned forward. She's my daughter. Silence. Then a long, cold voice. And if you don't step back, we'll make sure the world knows it in the worst way possible. Zara wasn't supposed to be at the door when he came home, but she was. Did they say I can't play anymore? Harrison looked down at her. No, they said I shouldn't help you anymore. Her voice barely trembled. Are you going to listen? He knelt in front of her. Not a chance. The next day, Maria met with a lawyer, one she never thought she'd need. She laid out everything. Photos, letters, tournament results, the scholarship, the threats. The lawyer took off her glasses after reading through the case file. They're betting you'll walk away to protect her. I won't. Then we go public. That night, Maria posted a letter on social media. It was just a photo of her daughter, and the caption, My name is Maria Thompson. My daughter is Zara. She is 8 years old. She has earned every game, every trophy, every ounce of respect. If your institution cannot recognize brilliance when it comes in brown skin and curly hair, then maybe your institution isn't worthy of her presence. Within 24 hours, it had 2.7 million views. The next morning, #StandWithZara trended worldwide. They had tried to silence a child, but instead, they gave her a microphone. It took exactly 6 days for the school district to back down. The statement was short. Almost embarrassed. Upon review, we've determined that no misconduct occurred regarding Miss Zara Thompson. We apologize for any distress caused. No mention of the threats. No mention of the whispers. But Maria didn't need their apology, because she already had what mattered. Zara went back to school the next Monday. No cameras. No press. Just hallway stairs and kids holding chessboards like they were invitations. One little boy approached her at recess. I don't get how the horse moves, he whispered. Zara grinned. It's called a knight. I'll show you. That afternoon, something new waited on her desk. A sealed envelope with a gold emblem. Inside, you are invited to speak at the National Girls and Strategy Conference in Washington, D.C. Keynote guest, Zara Thompson, age 8, champion, thinker, trailblazer. Maria sat down when she read it. She's not even 9, she whispered. Harrison only smiled. She doesn't need to be. The real surprise came 2 weeks later. At a school assembly. No one told Zara why she was there. Just that the district superintendent would be visiting. Banners hung from the ceiling, celebrating brilliance. She fidgeted in her seat. Until Principal Hampton took the mic. He cleared his throat, smiled nervously, and said, We have failed this child before we even realized we were watching her. But no more. Today, we recognize not just her talent, but what she represents. He turned, pulled back a velvet cloth from the auditorium wall. And revealed a brass plaque. The Zara Thompson Center for Strategic Thinking, dedicated to every student who ever questioned whether they belonged. The room erupted. Zara stood slowly. Tears in her eyes. Then stood taller. Applause filled the air like thunder, and this time no one tried to silence it. That night, at home, they ordered pizza. Maria laid a clean tablecloth over the coffee table. Harrison brought sparkling apple cider. They toasted with paper cups. To what? Zara asked. Maria raised her cup. To be seen. Harrison raised his. To never back down. Zara thought for a second, then tapped her cup. To my night. They laughed, harder than they had in weeks. In the corner of their living room sat her mahogany chessboard, still set up. Waiting. Double quotes. Do you want to play tonight? Harrison asked. Zara shook her head. No. He looked surprised. You okay? She smiled softly. I already won. The next day, Zara stood at the edge of the strategy lab. She looked up at the new sign on the glass doors. It had her name. Her full name, and her reflection. Staring back, she touched the handle. Behind her, voices echoed down the hallway. Hey Zara, can you show me that fork trap again? Wait for me. I want to try the puzzle too. She opened the door and let them all in. On the far wall of the lab was a quote written in her handwriting. Chess taught me I could see the future before it happens. Being brave means moving anyway, even when you know they'll try to stop you. She didn't need to sign it. They all knew who wrote it. That night, Maria tucked her into bed with the windows open. Rain tapped the glass softly. Mama? Zara asked. Double quotes. Yes, baby. Do you think I'll always be good at chess? Maria thought about it. Maybe, but even if you're not. Zara tilted her head. You'll always be good at thinking, and at loving, and showing the world what it forgot to notice. Zara smiled, then whispered, I'm glad I'm me. Maria kissed her forehead. I always was. In another part of the city, a new application was being filed. A foundation for young girls of color in strategy and logic. Fully funded, backed by a man who no longer needed to stay in the shadows. At the top of the letterhead, ZT Initiative, build your own board. Final shot, Zara walks across the school courtyard. Head high, metal tucked away. She passes the same hallway where she once heard, she doesn't belong in the library. Now another girl stands there. Small, nervous, clutching a pawn in her pocket. Zara pauses. Smiles. And holds the door open for her.